Sergeant Bilko used to say that. Remember old Sergeant Bilko? Glad to see you. Well, good afternoon. I think we have 2 newbies today, actually, so far. So welcome. Wonderful to have you here. So before we get started, we'll just do a few safety things, some legal boilerplate. If you have glaucoma or balance issues, you don't want to put your head below your heart. And if you're pregnant, you don't want to be doing any severe twisting. And other than that, if we need to evacuate, we'll go out the double doors here, there, and there. Saying we'll reform out in front of the building. We'll bring the sign-in sheets and make sure everybody got out safely. Please do only what you can safely and comfortably do. This is not a competition. We don't have any black belts or awards afterwards to give out. We all come here to improve our quality of life, to improve our ability to do our activities of daily living. That's our whole goal, and we accomplish that by strengthening our muscles, improving our breathing efficiency, improving our brain-muscle communication, and strengthening our heart. Getting our heart going a little bit. The heart's a muscle. We want to make that strong as well. A few things before we start, though. As you know, we're coming up on the June break, so we take the month of June off, and the month of December every year. But to fill in the blanks during June, I have a handout in the back, and you'll also receive this as an email shortly. And it has instructions on things you can do while we're on break. So there's exercises you can do. I recommend week number 1, you just take a complete break. And then weeks 2 and 3, there's an exercise routine outlined here that's slightly different from what we do, and you can follow that. And then on week number 4, you follow the week number 2 and 3 exercise, but with a little more intensity. And then, of course, week number 5, we're back here in July. So anyway, so you'll get this as an email, but there are a few copies in the back as well under free handouts there. So you're welcome to that. And on the back, it goes into detail about diaphragmatic breathing and meditation. And you really want to continue diaphragmatic breathing and meditation all the time. There's no problem in doing that. So anyway, some good helpful hints there. Also, on that handout, I have added some references. So this is different from the one you had last year, for those of you who were with us last year. So this is a revised copy, so I suggest you go by this one. And on the very bottom, there's some references, some websites you can go to. One is the National Institutes of Health, and it talks in depth about nasal breathing and why nasal breathing is so much healthier for you, and why you should do nasal breathing. And also breathing is another link for breathing in general, some instructions on breathing in general. So some good information. You're welcome to that. My email address is on there, by the way. If you ever have questions, feel free to just email me. I'll be happy to respond if I can. Also, I had a new student in Conroe this morning, and he said, gee, you know, I heard about the class in the Woodlands Villager. And I said, the Woodlands Village, sure enough, and today in the Woodlands Villager is an article about this class, well, the one in Conroe. So I thought, and they did that interview in March, so I had forgotten all about it. And bingo, here it is 2 months later. So anyway, so cool. So we're getting lots of exposure, and that's really good. We're helping lots of seniors. That's the whole goal of the class. That's why we do it. So with that, let's see, my intention for today, I always have an intention. And today's intention is control because, and we teach this in Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is a much more intense meditation yoga process. When we do our Shavasana at the end of the class, we do that for 2 or 3 minutes, and we do our meditation. In Yoga Nidra, it's a minimum of 30 minutes. And it's much, much more involved. And we use that to help veterans suffering from PTSD, depression, traumatic brain injury, those kinds of things. It's been shown to be very, very successful. But my whole point of mentioning that is that when we talk about control, we think that our brain is in control of everything that we do. But the fact is it's not in control at all. It's simply a tool. It's no different than a muscle or bone or the heart. What's really in control of what we do is our spirit, our ethics, our soul. That's what's in control of us. So when something comes into your brain like a negative thought or a past experience, and it's controlling you, don't let it do that. You know, you have control over the brain, so acknowledge that it's there, and then bring in a happy thought, a happy experience, and replace it with the bad experience. You can't get rid of the bad experience. We acknowledge that. but at least you can manage it. And you can put it aside and just focus then on a good experience. And that's what we try to teach, and that is tremendous help for people with depression, traumatic brain injury, those types of things as well. So just something to think about. Your brain is not in control. It's merely a computer. It's a very good computer, but you're the operator, not the brain. So, okay, so we'll start with our diaphragmatic breathing. Of course, we always want to get good breath into our bodies. So deep breaths in and out. As I breathe in, my stomach comes out. That allows that diaphragm muscle to contract, come down, bring the lungs with it, pulling in the appropriate amount of air. And then as I breathe out, my navel goes towards my back, diaphragm relaxes and goes up, pushing the lungs and pushing out the appropriate amount of carbon dioxide. So deep breaths in, and out, and in, and out, and in, and out, and in, and out, and in, and out. Fantastic. Got all that oxygen into our system. So now we're going to start our warm-up. As always, our practice involves a warm-up, then the actual heavier work, and then a cool down. So starting with our warm-up. Today we're doing our seated jumping jack. So nice and slow. Again, speed is not what we're looking for here. We're just looking for movement. So nice, gentle movements all the way up, and back in, and out, and 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 in. Very good. Now let's just move our shoulders just a little bit. So good straight posture, and I'm just going to move the shoulders back, and then forward, and back, and forward, and back, and forward, and back, and forward. Very good. Now seated good morning. So from here, arms by our sides, and then just coming all the way up, and back down, nice and slow. And all the way up, getting the shoulders ready for some work, and back down, lubricating the shoulders, increasing our elasticity, range of motion. Very good. And up. And one more coming down. Excellent. So now we're going to just involve we want to get our legs, our stretching our calf muscles, hamstrings, gluteus muscles. So just moving our feet out, our heels into the floor, legs are straight, or as straight as you can make them, and then gently coming forward. Nice smooth movement, but never pain. We're just stretching those leg muscles. And of course the back is getting involved as well. Coming down towards the ankles as far as you can safely and comfortably go. And then coming right back up. Just a nice, smooth, dynamic stretch here. And then coming forward again, nice and slow. And then coming back up. And one more coming forward. Nice and easy. And coming back up. Very good. Let's just roll those shoulders out a little bit. And maybe the opposite direction here. Nice good roll. And now we're going to do our seated cat and cow. So this is where we engage the spine. I'm just going to turn sideways to help demonstrate. Really good for the spine, for the discs between the spine, between the vertebrae. So my shoulders are coming forward, head is coming down towards my knees and really arching my back. And this is, of course, our angry cat pose. And then I'm going the opposite direction, moving the shoulders back, arching the back in the opposite direction, squeezing the discs between the vertebrae, coming forward again into that angry cat pose. Great stretch here, absorbing fresh blood and oxygen, and then going the opposite direction, squeezing those discs, now they're excreting synovial fluid in metabolic waste. One more coming forward into that angry cat pose. Nice and slow, wonderful stretch for back pain, neck pain, and then opposite direction one more time for that happy cow pose. So good, excellent. Rolling the shoulders a little bit, and we'll come to a standing position. Now we're going to warm up the lower body muscles a little more intensity. So we're going to come into our runner's lunge. I'm going to hold my chair with my left hand. The left leg is going to go forward, bending at the knee, but I'm never letting that forward knee go beyond the toes. I don't want to hurt the meniscus in that bent knee. Back leg is nice and straight. And again, speed is not what we're looking for here. We're looking to strengthen these muscles, and to do that, we need time under tension. So as I breathe in, I'll come up slowly. As I breathe out, go forward. And in, and out. 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 Great, and let's come to a standing position. We just walk that out a little bit. Turn and do the other side now, so the right leg goes forward, right knee at about 90 degrees over whatever works for you, whatever angle is best for you. Making sure you're good and sturdy in the pose. And then once we're here, breathing in, I'll come up. And breathing out, I'll go forward. And in, and in, and in, and in, and out, and in, and out. Great, come to a standing position and just walk that out. So that's really targeting all of those lower leg muscles, the core muscles, gluteus muscles getting involved, even the psoas muscle, the internal muscle, the deep internal muscles. And to carry that a little bit further, and a little bit of a complement to the lunge, to the runner's lunge. Well, now we'll do the assisted squat. So I'm going to hold my chair with my hand. And I'm just going to come down slowly, just to where these muscles on the top of the legs, the thighs here, start to talk to me. No pain. And then I'm going to come up, nice and slow. And then back down. And up, nice and easy. Down. And up. And down. And up. And down. And up. One more down. And up now. Great. And now we can do the yoga squat, which is a little more intense. And I'm happy to say our class in Cairo, which we only started in January, now we have several people doing the yoga squat as well, who could not do that when we first started. So practice really, really helps. But always listen to your body, never, never pain. So for those who wish to do it, just fine. If you want to just observe, fine, or hold the chair and do the assisted squat, totally up to you for the yoga squat. I'll just come down nice and easy. Spread the feet as far as what's comfortable for you. And then once I'm all the way down, or down as far as I can go, then I'm just going to gently turn to the right slightly, and to the middle and to the left. And back to the middle and to the right. And back to the middle, and one more left. And back to the middle. Now very slowly, just coming up, ever so easy. And we walk that out. And we have a question.
Once before you explained about the position of your back when you were down, it should be straight. So
as straight as possible, yes.
If everything is sticking out, we're not doing the yoga squat?
You are, but you're doing it incorrectly. Yeah, you want your back to be as straight as possible, for sure, in the yoga squat.
Yeah,
So you want to be as straight as possible as you go. And that's where adjusting the feet come in. As opposed to the angry cat pose. Let me just demonstrate that. So for the angry cat, we're really arching the back. Arching the back. Or the down dog, we have a straight back. An angry cat, we go into an arch. So bending the back. So I hope that helps. And Robert had the same question, I think, a few weeks ago. Yeah, you want to keep the back as straight as possible in the squat, when we're doing the squat, especially when the sun is going down. So let's do some deep breathing. And now we're just going to do a little bit of cardio work here, and it's kind of like the squat as well, but we have some additional movement going on. So I'm going to put my chair in front of me, so it's good and handy if I need it. And I'm just going to stand behind the chair, and I'm just going to squat down a little bit, and we're going to do the crab walk. So we're going to do 2 steps in each direction. So going to the right, 1, 2, and then to the left, 1, 2, and the right, 1, 2, and left, 1, 2, and right, 1, 2, and left, 1, and 2. Great, and let's do some deep breathing. Great, and the purpose of that is to get our heart rate up, so that really gets the heart rate moving. So it's a little bit of a cardio movement there, warming up the heart. Let's have a seat. Now we're going to do our upper back work. Want to strengthen our, yes, please hydrate at any point. Take a break at any point if you feel you need to. And if I lose my voice, I'll see you. Not a problem. As soon as I can. So, again, just an advantage of getting old, as we know. So, we're going to do our back muscle strengthening here. And we want to do that because we don't want the muscles in our chest, the pectoral muscles, which are very big, and we don't want them to take over, overpowering the back muscles. When that happens, our shoulders tend to come forward, and that puts pressure on our lungs, and we don't breathe as efficiently as we could. Also, it can cause neck pain and back pain. So we're going to strengthen the upper back muscles, bringing my right arm straight up and down, the eagle pose. Left arm is going to come around and wrap. Only do what you can safely do, no pain here. Whatever you can do is just fine. And then I'm very gently going to twist to the right, and come back to the center, and twist to the left. And come back to the center and twist to the right. And back to the center and one more left. And back to the center. So that engaged all the upper back muscles, but now we're going to add the middle and low back as well as the gluteus muscles and the hips. So I'm going to lean forward. And again, now I'm going to twist to the right. Back to the center and to the left. And back to the center and to the right. And back to the center, and one more left. And back to the center, now returning to vertical. And once I'm here, as I breathe in, I come down. As I breathe out, I go up. And in, and up. And in, and up. And in, and out. And now we unwind from that nice and slow. And then we roll those shoulders. Ooh, it feels so good. And then, of course, the opposite direction. And then our opposite left and right brain challenge here. And opposite, opposite. Very good. And now we do the other side. So now the left arm comes up. Right arm comes around and wraps. And then once I'm here, gently twisting to the right again. And back to the center and to the left. And back to the center and one more right. And back to the center and one more left. And back to the center, now leaning forward again, engaging the middle back, low back, hips, and again going to the right. And back to the center and to the left. And back to the center and one more right. And back to the center and one more left. And back to the center, returning to vertical. And then once I'm here, as I breathe in, I come down. And as I breathe out, I go up. And in. And up, and in, and up, and in, and up, and now we unwind from that. Nice and slow, big roll of the shoulders. So good. And then our opposite direction. And then, of course, our opposite. Just want to get all that synovial fluid flowing in those shoulders, lubricating the shoulders. Increasing our elasticity, our range of motion. Wonderful, wonderful exercises for that. So now we're going to target our inner and outer upper thigh muscles, so the adductor muscle group on the inside and the abductor group on the outside. And this is a simple exercise, a little different. It's a modified Lord of the Fishes pose, as we call it in yoga. I'm going to take my right foot and I'm going to put it against my left foot. And then I'm going to pull those 2 feet together as tight as I can. I'm also going to tighten all the muscles in my body. And that's going to tighten these muscles on the inside of the thigh and the outside, as well as all the other muscles. So I'm going to pull real tight, pull tight, and breathe, deep breathe. Holding and pulling. And we release from that and switch the feet. opposite side, and same thing, we're gonna pull real, real tight, all the muscles tightening up, and deep, deep breaths. Pull, pull, pull. Great, and let's release and switch again. Again, we'll pull, 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 out deep breaths. And we release from that and switch one more time. And deep, deep breaths. And we release. Woo, so good. And now some nice, deep, calming breaths here. Now that is normally done lying down on the ground with your feet crossing your legs, so it's a little more intense lying down, but still we've gotten a pretty good workout there doing it the way we just did it. So now we're ready to come into our more intense part of our practice. We've done our warm-up. Let's come to a standing position. We've got our whole body warmed up and ready for some real work here. I'm just going to start though with just some simple stretching of the elbows and shoulders and fingers. So hands together, interlacing the fingers, palms facing the floor, elbows as straight as possible. And now I'm going to bring those hands up towards the ceiling. So I'm getting a great stretch across the shoulders, of course down the arms and right through the hands and fingers. And once I'm here, I'm going to gently twist to the right, as far as I can go, and then come back nice and slow and twist to the left, just stimulating the liver, the digestive system back to the center and to the right, and stretching the oblique muscles a little bit, and back to the center, and one more left. And back to the center. Now let's just gently lean back just ever so slightly, a little arch in the back there, stretching those arms really good. And coming forward, bringing the hands down, releasing from that. Again, just a little bit of a roll in the shoulders. Now we're going to come into our more intense part of our workout where we're really going to start strengthening these muscles, targeting the type 1 muscle fiber with some slow but intense movements. So we're starting with our warrior one. So I'm going to have my left leg forward, just like we did with the runner's lunge. My chair is handy if I need it. So if my balance is in question, I can quickly grab the chair, or I can hold the chair. Now once I'm here in my warrior one starting position, arms come up alongside the ears, completing warrior one, and now I'll slowly breathe into this pose, breathing in and come up, and breathing out I go forward. And in, and up, and in, and in, and up, and in, and up, and in, and out. And now very carefully I'm going to release my hands, bringing them down behind my back, interlacing my fingers, coming into our humble warrior. But if you need to hold the chair with one hand, perfectly fine. Once I'm here, as I breathe in, I come up. And as I breathe out, my chest goes towards my forward knee, and my hands go towards the ceiling. In, and out. And in, and out. And in, and out. And in, and in, and out, and releasing now. We're coming right back to that warrior one position, nice and slow. Once I'm safely here, I'm just going to flow into my warrior two. Left hand goes out front, right hand out back, making sure I'm good and sturdy in the pose. And then once I'm here, breathing into this pose. Great, and now I'm going to turn that forward palm towards the ceiling and leaning back into my peaceful warrior, stretching that whole left side of the body, and then once I'm safely there, I'm going to breathe into this pose. Great, and flowing right back into that warrior two, nice and slow. So today, now we're going to do the triangle. So this is a little bit difficult, so please, if you need to hold the chair, that's just fine. Or if you just want to observe, that's fine too. Going to straighten both legs, nice and straight. The left hand is going to go down towards the left ankle. Right arm goes straight up in the air, or hold the chair with your right hand if you need to. This is our triangle pose, and once I'm here, I'm breathing into this pose. And flowing slowly, nice and smoothly, right back into our warrior two. And then once we're here, coming to a standing position, we walk that out. Oh, those muscles are talking to you, I know. It's a really good workout, but that's so important, you know, that helps to keep us erect, keep our balance, and prevent us from falling. You need those muscles to be strong. So, deep, deep breaths in and out. Hydrate, of course, if you need to. Great, and now we'll do the other side. So right leg goes forward. We never want to cheat any part of our body. We do one side, we'll do the other. So right leg is forward, knee maybe 90 degrees, whatever works for you. Good and sturdy in the pose. And then arms by our ears into our warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. And now once we're here, breathing into the pose. Very good. Now I'm going to bring those hands down behind my back, nice and easy, very, very carefully, interlacing the fingers, and then breathing into this pose. This is our humble warrior. As I breathe in, I come up, and as I breathe out, my chest goes towards my forward knee, hands and arms towards the ceiling, breathing in, up, and down. Great, and releasing from that and coming right back into that warrior one. And then once we're safely here, flowing into warrior two, nice and slow. Readjusting the feet, of course. Make sure we've got our balance, really good sturdy pose, and breathing into the pose. I come up, and breathing out, I go forward. And in, and down. And in, and down. And in, and down. In, and in, and out. And now we'll turn that forward palm towards the ceiling, leaning back, stretching that whole right side of the body. Great stretch all the way from that right foot to the right hand. And then once we're safely here, if you can, we breathe into this pose. Great, and we'll flow right back into that warrior two. And of course now the little more difficult pose called the triangle, so I'm going to straighten both legs. Make sure I've got my balance, I'm good and secure. Right hand is going to go down towards the right ankle, left arm goes straight up into the air. And then once I'm in this pose, I can breathe into it if I'm safe. Great, and flowing right back into that warrior two. And then once we're here, coming to a standing position, let's walk it out. Oh, that feels good. Great, great workout. Please be hydrated if you need to. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Can't stress that enough. So important. Plenty of water in the back if you need water. You know, many times I'll say that when you feel weak or lightheaded or just generally tired or even muscle aches and pains, it could be because of lack of hydration. You know, so hydrating, especially as seniors, is so important. You know, we don't process our body fluids like we did when we were younger. So we definitely need to ensure that we remain hydrated. So very, very important. So let's do some deep breaths. That was a great workout. Perfect, and now we'll come into our balance pose, or the first challenge for today. I did want to mention one thing though about the June break again. We did those warrior moves, and you'll agree, I'm sure, that they're pretty difficult. I mean, you're doing a lot of muscle building there by doing that. But over time, because we've been doing this now since January, our muscles will do what we call, in personal trainer side, plateau. So they no longer look at that as a challenge, even though it might feel like it's a challenge. For the muscle, it's no longer reacting as much as it did. And that's why it's so important to change up, to take a break. Then when you come back, it's a whole new challenge. Even though you say, well, it was only a week that I took it. Well, it doesn't matter. To the muscle, whoa, that's a big change. Also, if you're just doing something, again, this is more personal trainer stuff rather than yoga, but we teach in personal training, to change the difficulty of an exercise. As an example, let's say you're doing the arm curl with a dumbbell. And so, you can do it maybe 10 repetitions with a 5-pound weight at this particular speed. But over time, that's going to become, the muscle's going to plateau. It's going to say, okay, after 2 months or so. So what you do, just to change it up, is just go slower. Now it's a whole new challenge to the muscle, and especially on the eccentric move, where you're releasing, because now the tricep is getting involved, the agonist muscle. You're just going slower changes the whole argument, and the muscle immediately has a whole new challenge. So the little exercises that I've written out there in the break, for the break, one of them is walking. Walking is a wonderful exercise, fabulous exercise. And it's different from doing our warrior moves, It's a little different challenge, and the muscles will respond. That's, oh, okay, so it's a little different. And then when we come back in July, wow, it's a whole new ball game. All those warrior moves, again, are going to be giving you benefit, more benefit than they would if we just kept doing them. And you definitely want to take a break, a full time off. Several days, I suggest a week. In my book, I say, in the 6-month program, I say week number 13 is an off week. We don't do anything. Just relax, And then when you come back, you start at 10% less, and then slowly work your way back up to where you were. So, but anyway, just a little digressing, but it's very important to challenge the body. So let's now do our balance, first balance challenge. Today we're doing the tree pose. So I'm going to hold the chair with my left hand, taking my right foot and putting it against my left calf. And then once I'm here, and the goal here now is to build this muscle and brain communication. And that's what this is going to do. Your supporting foot is doing a lot of work right now. That's because it's getting a lot of instruction from your brain. And we want that instruction to get faster and faster and faster. No thinking, just do it, do it, do it. And practice makes perfect. That's how it happens. Now, to add a little more challenge, you can maybe hover the hand over the chair. Or maybe you grow a branch. Maybe 2 branches. Very easy. Focusing on the floor, for me anyway, I'm looking at the floor because it's not moving, thank goodness. I was actually in an earthquake in Japan where the floor was moving. That ain't good, I'll tell you. And now you can maybe add some more intensity by moving the foot from a low limb up above the knee to a higher limb. But only do what you can, never on the knee. Don't want to hurt the knee. And maybe we add some wind. Very good. And coming in and out of the pose perfectly fine. We're still completing that challenge. That's what we want. And then maybe I'll lower that limb back down to the lower limb. And then from there, bring the branches down. And we snap and walk it out. So that's a pretty good tree. Boy, it's expandable. Back down. It's like the Christmas tree. Okay, we'll do the other side now. Now I'm going to take my left foot and put it against my right calf. Again, just adding maybe some challenge just by hovering over the chair. That in itself, boy, the brain is working overtime now because we're out of balance, number 1. We're only on one limb, number 2. So the brain is really working, trying to keep us erect, instructing all the muscles that are supporting us, including all of those in the foot. My foot's going like that constantly. And then maybe I can grow a branch. And grow another branch. And then maybe move that limb up above. Oops. There we And then for the really crazy yogis, maybe you want to go into the canopy. And then have a seat. And coming back out into the upper limb, restore my branches, a lot of wind. And then back to the lower branch. And then we walk. Very good. So that's, the goal is, though, we're achieving that muscle-brain communication. So important, so absolutely crucial for seniors to maintain our balance, prevent ourselves from falling. So let's just do a little resetting. We've done a lot of work here. So just going to bring the arms up alongside the ears, leaning back, and now we're going to hold and deep breathe. And now we'll come forward into that forward fold. Please remember the caution if you have glaucoma or balance issues. Otherwise, come down as far as you can safely and comfortably go. Never, never pain. Stretching all these wonderful muscles. Oh boy, so good. Sciatic nerve is being stretched. And coming back to our neutral position, hands on our hips. And let's just twist to the right and hold, and we'll do some deep breathing here, holding this pose. And coming back to the neutral position, then twisting to the left, and again, just holding this pose. Great, and back to the neutral position. Let's push forward and really open up that chest. Oh, those pectoral muscles getting a great stretch. Heart has lots of room. Deep, deep breaths. Great, and we'll have a seat. We're just going to do a little bit of hip work here. We need to give our hips a little bit of a stretch, but it also includes leg muscles and back muscles. And yes, please hydrate. I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to bring my right leg. Now, two options here. I can take my right foot and put it alongside my left foot on the outside of my left foot, or option two, I can bring that leg up and bring it back. Be careful of the bent knee. We don't want any pain there, so be very careful of that. And then I'm going to bring my arms up alongside my ears. And as I breathe in, I come up, and as I breathe out, I'll go towards that bent knee, the raised knee. Be very careful. And releasing from that and coming back up. And of course, we're going to rotate this ankle. That's good movement there. Get that foot. Ooh, big cracks in my legs going on there. And then the opposite direction. So good. And then, of course, we'll plantar flex that foot, and then dorsiflex it, and plantar flex, and dorsiflex, and plantar flex, and dorsiflex. And we'll do our myofascial release, maybe a little bit of massage there. So good. And releasing from that, we switch legs. Leg just behind the knee, never want to put it on the knee. And then arms by our ears and just gently breathing into the pose. Great, and releasing from that, now we'll rotate this ankle. And then the opposite direction. Boy, just feel that lubrication going on there. So good, good and flexible. And then plantar flex that guy, and dorsiflex, plantar flex, dorsiflex, and plantar flex, and dorsiflex. And now we'll do that little bit of myofascial release. And we release from that and bring that leg down. I also brought today, but I didn't bring it in. Okay. I thought I brought in the roller. But I'll bring that on Tuesday so you can see that there's other ways that you can do that myofascial massage that's really, really effective. So And I apologize, I thought I brought it in, but I didn't. Let's come back to our standing position because we need to get our balance in. Unfortunately, the clock is flying. And so Lisa and Betty were doing something earlier before class started where they want us to start doing some cheering, I think. So they want us to make a Y, you know, and an O, you know. That's not yoga. This is yoga. So I'm going to hold my chair. Don't run off. So holding my chair now. So I'm going to put my right foot in front of my left. Then my left foot is going to go in front of my right and out to the side. And then my right foot's going to go out to the side. Okay. And I'm making a Y. Okay? So this is balance practice. Betty, you have that? Okay? So it's very good balance practice. And it actually is. And I'm trying to kid around a little bit, but this is actually one of the yoga moves that we do to practice balance. So you can spell out all kinds of words. It's a wonderful thing to do with the grandkids. So we'll do the simple Y, but, you know, tell the grandchild to spell out their name. So, you know, hopefully it isn't some very long name, you know, but anyway, so that's a great practice. So we did the Y, so now we'll come back. Feet just side by side. So now the O is a little difficult. So I'm just going to move my feet out, and then I'm just going to walk. And we made the O. So the toes touch, and then we come down. But this is a challenge. This is definitely a challenge for your balance, and it's a very good one. Believe me, you know. So now really comes a tough one.
I worked a long time not to be pigeon-toed, and now you're going to
So now we feet back together, and now we got to do the G. How are we going to do the G? Gee whiz, how are we going to do this G? I don't know. So we're going to maybe do the left foot goes out, and step, and we step, and we step. Now we've got to turn that right foot to make our G. And then right foot back to where it was, and then we step, and we step, and we step. Okay. And then of course we have the A. So maybe we'll put the feet apart. And 1, 2, 1, 2. And now, there we go. Just move that right foot so it's across. Put it there. And then we go back. And 1, 2, 1. Excellent. So Betty, what do you think? Better than the cheerleading? Okay, very good. So today we also want to do our bronze medal. Today's bronze medal. So I'm going to just hold my chair handy and take my right foot, put it in front of my left. And for the bronze medal, my hands are just by my sides. Micro bend in the knee is fine. You know, if you want to do that, that can help with balance. Deep breathing always helps with balance because it gets oxygen to the brain. The brain is controlling all of this. Remember, that's the computer and you are operating it. So now I'll just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Great, we're releasing that and we switch the feet. Left is out front, right is out back, in back. And again, releasing the arms right by our sides, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Cool. Okay, so we did some really good balance testing there, some balance challenges. Let's do a little more balance challenge. We're going to add some coordination and accuracy as well. So to do that, we're going to do our contralateral and ipsilateral marching. So very slowly, though, again, speed is not the issue here, and especially in this exercise. We want to elongate it as much as possible because that puts more strain on the brain, and that's what we want. So, contralateral marching, we raise my right leg and my left hand. There we go, and then opposite, and 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 opposite. Very good, come to a stop. Now we'll do ipsilateral. Okay, so for ipsilateral, same side. So I'm going to raise my right leg and my right hand. There we go. Up, and opposite, and opposite, and opposite, So a different challenge for the brain, both from a balance, coordination, and accuracy perspective. And now as I'm raising my hands, I'm making a fist, thumbs are up. Now very carefully, as the hand comes up, bring it to the nose. There we go. Don't poke your eye, don't poke your neighbor. There we go. And if there were plenty of room, you could do this closing your eyes. But be careful of your neighbors. And again, don't poke your eye. Very good. And we come to a stop and just roll those shoulders out. Some deep, deep breaths here. And I think I heard a $5 in there. There we go. Okay, we have to reset and come into our Shavasana. Very important we reset. We've done so much work with our bodies here. We want to make sure they're stretched out. Arms by our ears, leaning back, deep, deep breaths in and out. And then coming forward into that forward fold again and holding here, nice deep breaths in and out. And coming to standing position, arms out into our helicopter pose, turning to the right, as far as we can go, and holding here, deep breaths. And coming to the neutral position, then to the left, holding here, nice deep breath. And back to the neutral position, now leaning to the right. Nice big lean. Oh, great stretch on that right side. So good. And back to neutral and leaning to the left. Excellent stretch. And back to neutral. Bring the arms down. Let's have a seat. Coming into our neck and head exercise. Yes, I'm definitely going to hydrate one more time. But there is one more lower body stretch we should do. This is called Apanasana, normally done on the ground, but we'll do it seated. So I'm just going to bring my right leg up and bring my chest towards that leg, and then I'm going to tighten every muscle in my body. Everything good and tight. Just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Deep breaths in, holding here. And releasing from that, and then we do the other leg. And we're really getting the hip involved here, and that's the whole purpose here. And we release from that. Very good. So now we'll do our neck exercise. So I'm just going to rotate my head, big, big oval, going to the right, all the way up and over, and coming down. And again to the right, all the way up and over, and coming down. And then we'll go to the left, opposite direction, up and over. So good. And down. And one more lift, all the way up and over. And down. Fantastic. Now in the neutral position, I'm just going to lean forward. $10. And then I'm going to go back to neutral and lean backward. Nice and easy. And back to neutral. And then I'm going to just lean to the right. And back to neutral and lean to the left. And back to neutral. Nice big turn to the right. And back to neutral and to the left. And back to neutral. Perfect. Let's bring those, just our two fingers to our eyebrows. Gentle massage. Stimulating the eyes here, the little eye muscles, nasal cavities. Relaxing the eyes. So good for a dry eye, for tired eyes. Very gentle. Chinese Yu Yao it's called. And we release from that and we'll move to the temples and just a gentle massage of the temples here, lowering our blood pressure, calming our nervous system. So good. And let's release from that. And let's get our carpal tunnel in. I know we're behind time, but if we can, we'll just do some nice, good exercise there. We're lubricating all the knuckles here. We're stimulating blood flow all the way from the hands right through the wrist and up the arm right into the shoulder. So good if you have tingling fingers or any kind of arthritis pain. Very, very good. Release from that, and we'll hold that right arm straight out, elbows nice and straight, gently bringing that hand back, but no pain ever. We're just getting a nice stretch across the wrist there, stimulating blood flow again. And then we'll go in the opposite direction, just gently pulling back. And then we do the other arm, nice and straight, gently bring that hand back. And then going in the opposite direction again, nice and slow. So good. And let's release from that. And let's just roll those wrists out just a little bit. It helps with a little more circulation there. And just one more with our hands. I'm going to do the thumbs across the palms. So the thumbs cross over the palms. Fingers come down. So we're good and tight. And then we squeeze. And then we release. And we squeeze. And release. And squeeze. And release. And one more squeeze. And release. Very good. Shake those hands out again. Doing our eye exercise. Want to get our peripheral vision a little better. So I'm going to keep my head straight forward. Just going to move my eyes. Looking to the right. Up, left, and down. Right, up, left, and down. Now opposite. Left, up, right, and down. And left, up, right, and down. Great. Let's blink the eyes just to reset them. Now coming into our Shavasana. So here we relax our brain and then our body. Great little exercise to do because it's almost like a half an hour of good sleep if we do it correctly, and that gets you ready for the rest of the day. A wonderful way to just free up the mind, just relax the mind, refresh the mind. So closing the eyes, hands are on the thighs, palms up or down, your choice. Deep, deep breathing through the entire process, and maybe add the mantra of counting as you breathe. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathing out silently, 1, 2, 3, 4. That can help block out all the noise in your mind, all of the thoughts that are interrupting you, and just relax the mind. So deep breaths in and out. Take this opportunity to forget about those things we can't control, to put the past aside just momentarily, to recognize there are certain things we just can't do, and there's nothing wrong with that. Focusing on our breath, counting as it comes in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and as it goes out, 1, 2, 3, 4. If a thought interrupts us, that's fine, acknowledge it did it, and then go right back to the breath, and on to the mindful breathing, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Watching the breath come into the body, nourishing all the muscles, all the organs, and the brain. As the breath leaves the body, it takes all the metabolic waste with it and all the negative thoughts. Breathing in and out. And in and out. So calming to the body, so calming to the mind. Focusing only on this time, this place, at this moment. We're not worried about the future or the past. We're completely relaxed. Looking at our body, we see that our feet are relaxed. Our legs are relaxed. Our core, our hips, shoulders and chest, the arms, the neck and the head. Everything is relaxed. Sinking into the chair, gravity taking over. Fully supported, fully secure. Deep breaths in and out. Remembering that our spirit is in control, our ethics, our beliefs. Our mind is a tool. As I breathe in, I smile. As I breathe out, I relax. Deep, deep breaths in. Absorbing all the wonderful energy in this room, all the fellowship, all the support. Very slowly now, we move our fingers, move our feet, slowly opening our eyes, making sure we have our balance, bringing our arms all the way out, palms together, hands come to heart center. I'm so humbled that you continue to allow me to teach this practice to you. And may the light within me continue to shine alongside the light within you. Namaste. I bow to you. Thank you very much.